is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new ZDX. Only $459 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231. In Plantation, 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
The Sultan's choice for excitement and a caravan of savings awaits at Toyota of Hollywood. Your wish for savings has been granted with discounts of up to $4,500. Take a magic carpet ride in a Toyota Corolla, not $24,000, $19,988. Step into our Grand Bazaar where you'll find epic savings at the #1 volume Toyota dealer, Toyota of Hollywood, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Blink, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Blink. Be the maestro of your own home.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new Integra. Only $299 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
Price, service, selection. Get all this and more at South Florida's #1 loved Subaru store, Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Save today with our 3 ways to save. 0% financing, 0 down payment, or make no payments for 90 days from Subaru of Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome aboard to a Monday edition. It is December 1st. We are in the final month of 2025, headed for 2026 and hopefully better days. So we'll see what happens. And it is day number 18,946 since the Miami Dolphins lifted the Vince Lombardi Trophy, and there will probably be another 18,000 to go. And it is day number 8,730 since the Canes were national champions. And we'll add more days to that too, unfortunately. Our Bitcoin count, well, we can't start it until it gets back over 100, Somebody told me I should do a count the other way. How many days it's been under 100, right? But it'll be a short one, so I'm not really that worried about it. So yeah, I'm kind of safe there, overall. Anyway, good morning. Hope you all are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there on a Monday. You're back at work. At least some of you are. And if you're back at work, it's a good thing. If you're on vacation, it's even better. Now, if you don't have a job, that's where I say it's a good thing that if you're back at work, because it's always good to be working. So hang in there, folks. Those of you that are looking for jobs and things like that, I know it is not easy out there. Anyway, Lots of things to talk about. Obviously, we'll talk about that putrid performance yesterday by the Miami Dolphins as they eke out a win against another terrible team 2 weeks in a row against Washington and now against the New Orleans Saints in a game that was really tough to watch overall. It was a pleasure on a couple of ends, on the Devon H end and the defensive end. You really appreciated that, but, obviously everything going on with the passing game is just, it's really baffling what's going on, but it's bad. And it is what it is. It's just part of other things, going on. So, but we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Dolphins, Heat, Ira will join us. Panthers continue their season, obviously. Got to get them healthy. But they'll be back in action tomorrow. The Heat are back in action tonight against the sorry Clippers after a hell of a game and a hell of an effort against Detroit. That was a sweet-ass comeback. And, it just shows a lot of character for the team, dude. It was awesome to watch. They couldn't finish it. But then again, they were playing the number one seed in the conference, the team that is better than them. And for them to come back after that huge deficit, that, just shows you a ton of character, actually. And even Duncan had his moments too in the game for the Detroit Pistons as he made his way back here to Miami. So we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Inter Miami, maybe this is a season finally that they are playing to their potential, and and there's a couple of things that we have to talk about that's changed with Inter Miami that kind of changed everything. And it's funny how the domino that may have started it all is interesting, that Miami is in a position where we were all expecting them to be, obviously, with the amount of money that they spend on that roster. But there was, obviously there was serious doubts until a certain moment, which is funny. So we'll get into Inter Miami, and we'll talk about that as they get ready for the MLS Cup. So we got a bunch of stuff, obviously college football, coaching changes everywhere. We'll talk about that also on the show. We'll talk a little bit about what happened in the NFL, a little Bitcoin talk, obviously. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful dip. Sailor ended up taking advantage, obviously, and, we'll see. Obviously, never financial advice. But Bitcoin right now is around 85.7. So nice little dip after hitting 91, right? 91. So it was hanging around there, and then all of a sudden we had a whole bunch of longs get liquidated, and we had a massive drop. And I think also in the markets, we have started, let's see, the Dow this morning. Let me get it updated, because every time I pull up this app, I always have to wait a couple of seconds so I can get the refresh, So let me see. Boom. We're down 153 on the Dow, down 24 in the S&P, and down almost a point in the NASDAQ. So there you go. Okay. Hey, but don't worry about it, bro. They're going to eliminate income tax. Okay, so don't worry, but you'll be fine. All of us will be fine. When they eliminate an income tax, you can put it right next to your 5K Doge check and your 2K tariff check. Okay, I saw somebody on Twitter asking, "What do you think if the president eliminates income?" And I retweeted the guy, "How stupid are you people? Did you fell for the 5K Doge check? You fell for the 2K tariff. Now you're going to fall for the no income? Come on, dude. I mean, how stupid can you people be?" But hey, there's a lot of stupid people in this world, and they fall pretty much for anything that goes on out there. But anyway, so we got a bunch of stuff to talk about on the show. We'll have a little fun as always. We'll talk about the reality that the Dolphins are in, and many other things. The reality of all of our local teams. We'll get into all of that here on Le Programme. The great Sean Stanley is mastering the platform. And don't forget, folks, please smash the hell out of the like button. That's one of the most important things that you can do for us on a daily basis. Any videos that we put out, just let it play and walk away, as I say. That's another way you can help us. If you're going to go walk away from your room or something, just let it play. Let it play. Don't worry about it. You can also make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, and Solana donation as always, and we appreciate that. All Year Cooling is a proud sponsor of our program. Tommy and all the great people, man, they've been at this for 52 years, folks. So, we're getting into the colder part of the year for us. I know we'll have a few cool days. So those of you that live a little bit more north, they service from down in Homestead all the way up to Vero Beach and over on Naples too. So, you need to make sure you have your AC working, make sure you have your heater working, all kinds of stuff. Obviously, we need the AC here in South Florida, period. So from Homestead to Vero Beach or now in Naples, please reach out, because when it comes to AC and plumbing service, All Year Cooling is number one in Florida. Same day service and installs. Call them 888-204-5554. Extended warranties. Financing is available. Same day installations. Free repair estimates. 7 days a week service. So they're always there when you need them at All Year Cooling. All right. And tell them that Big O sent you. All right. So Dolphins will take on the Jets. We'll get you ready for that game next week or later this week. And Jets won't be easy, dude. Jets ended up winning 27-24 against the Falcons. So it'll be on the road. And you've watched what Miami has done in the last 2 weeks. And they have barely beaten two of the worst teams in the league. Okay. And that's just brutal to watch. So, and it's a divisional game and all of that. So it will not be easy. And I wouldn't even be shocked if we end up losing. Dolphins are favored by 2.5. The over and under is 41. Dolphins minus 150. The Jets are plus 125. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Why don't we? As the Miami Dolphins, they got it done yesterday. They eked one out. They barely beat a sorry-ass team. But, hey, man, they end up picking up the victory. And in the end, that's all that matters for Miami. They move on to take on the Jets after a 4-point win. Boy, that 2-point conversion was absolutely huge. Devon Achane, by the way, passed 1,000 yards in 12 games. Got to mention that. 1,000 yards means nothing in an entire season, but 1,000 yards in 12 games, that is impressive, ladies and gentlemen. And so this young man's going to have one hell of a season. And obviously the defense won that game yesterday for the Miami Dolphins. Tonight, the Miami Heat will take on the Clippers. They are favored by 6.5. The over and under is 235. Clippers plus 195 on the money line. The Heat minus 260. MLS Cup is set for Saturday, December 6th at 2:30 at Chase Stadium. Inter Miami, they are favored on the money line, minus 145. Vancouver plus 300 after a 5-1 win over NYC FC. Tuesday, the Panthers are back in action. They will take on Toronto, 7:30 at Amerant Bank Arena. Tonight, Monday Night Football, Giants visit New England. New England's favored by 7. Over and under is 46.5. Giants plus 300. New England is minus 400 on the money line. Fort Lauderdale United, they are off till next week, December 13th. They'll be on the road at Sporting Club Jacksonville. You can watch all their games on Peacock and Channel 10. The Gators have settled for Tulane coach John Summerall. So the Tulane coach, who, by the way, is 42-11 over in Tulane, they will give him a 6-year deal averaging $7.5 million. Ole Miss ends up getting the prize. I'm sorry, LSU ends up getting the prize, getting Lane Kiffin as he leaves Ole Miss. Auburn is hiring USF coach Alex Gulch also. So that is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. And if you need custom printing and embroidery, please call my friend Alan Blanco. He will take care of you. 786-618-1443. You can do that anywhere in the country because you do all of that anyways by Zoom and email and everything. You get shipped to you. So he can take care of you anywhere in the country. Reach out to Alan Blanco. Good people, man. Good people. Known him for a long time and does good work. All right. Let's see what else. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. 3A Graphics Sports Calendar. All right. What else do we have here going on the chat board? Let me see. Ray Varnicus is in. Oh, yeah, the Mike Tomlin thing. I got to tell you something, Dolphin fans. You got to let the past go, okay? Mike Tomlin ain't shit. Mike Tomlin's the one that wanted Aaron Rodgers. Mike Tomlin's the one that wants Mason Rudolph. And Mike Tomlin is the one, he makes the final calls in personnel there. He runs an offense that is antiquated and continues to run an offense that's antiquated forever. The line I used last week, and it's interesting, when he came here for an interview 2 decades ago or whatever it was, almost 2 decades ago, he was too hip-hop. That was the word that came out of the building from Huizenga and the boys. He was too hip-hop. Anyway, if you really looked at Huizenga's history, he didn't really put a lot of minorities in charge in his businesses, whatever. He didn't really put a lot of minorities in charge. But it is what it is. When you tell people that, you ruffle feathers, I did it back in those days, but it is what it is. Hank would mention it too, because Hank didn't give a shit either. But Mike Tomlin now is not hip-hop enough. And none of it, I'm talking about color, even though the first go-around had to do with color. But now I'm just using it as a way of describing that he is not a guy that is forward-moving and forward-thinking. Okay? As much as you may think, because, you like his words, and he's a great motivational speaker and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of rah-rah bullshit there going on. But the Steelers have been mediocre. They've been slightly better than the Dolphins, but they accomplished nothing. And he won early on with the players that were already there and the culture that was in place from Bill Cowher. Since his players have taken over, and look at the nutbags that will go through that building constantly. And this is the moron, and I'm talking about Mike Tomlin now, that could not create an environment for George Pickens to thrive. So a lot of you need to get back onto the hot tub time machine, and instead of going back in time, you need to come back with us here in 2025, headed into 2026. Life changes, bro. You got to leave the brick phone. Okay? You gotta leave the beeper behind. All right? That's just kind of the way it goes. Money is dying. It will be. Okay? Things change. Life changes. You're going to use email more than mail. All right? Checks are going by the wayside, going to credit cards. Now you're going to digital currency. Okay? Life evolves. Mike Tomlin does not. Mike Tomlin never evolves. He's a caveman. He's a caveman in a game that has changed. And just watch what happened yesterday. And he's I saw a headline somewhere, the Aaron Rodgers experiment is falling apart. Well, who the fuck told you that was going to work? Like, you didn't see what happened before? Like, you haven't watched the demise of the man? He's 40 years old, and you're asking him to carry your team? That's just absolutely stupid. That's Mike Tomlin. These are his decisions, dude. I don't want, when he comes here, if like for some of you, nutbags out there that want him, he's going to get personnel control. So the same buffoonery that goes on in Pittsburgh will go on to a bigger level here, because there's some checks and balances there with the Rooneys. There are no checks and balances here. Just saying, this whole thought of Mike Tomlin, you people are, you're sheep sometimes. You really don't think about it, and you don't even see what's going on over there. You want to hear and see what's going on over there? Sean Stanley, por favor, mi hermano, show them what's going on in Pittsburgh so they can see it, feel it, hear it. Fire Tomlin, chance. So, and Steeler fans have enjoyed a much better franchise than we have for decades, right? Because, we had our time in the 70s, so did they, but they continue to have all kinds throughout the different decades. Meanwhile, the Dolphins don't do anything whatsoever. And so this guy has become that he's not good enough for them. So now you want sloppy seconds? You want a man that's on his decline? Because he has the power there in Pittsburgh. He has final say of the roster. Nobody's drafted without his final say. So think about all the head cases that go through that team. That's all Mike Tomlin. I don't want the guy that thinks he can coach every moron out there. That just creates problems. And then you can't really communicate with the morons, so you can't maximize George Pickens. Or maybe George Pickens is right about you now. Because he goes to Dallas and he's playing like an MVP player. So I just want you all to pump the hell out of the brakes on the whole Mike Tomlin talk. It is silliness. Okay? Silliness. So just let it go, dude. Let it go. Look at what's been going on there. He's the reason. At first, I didn't think that he had the personnel control, and, no. And beat guys told me that nothing happens without his say. Let the Mike Tomlin stuff go. F Mike Tomlin, dude. Forget fire Mike Tomlin. F Mike Tomlin here in Miami. That would be a terrible hire. Jeff in Long Island is in the house. Oscar Rojas. Oh, you are correct, Oscar. We got to whip out them victory cigars. Let's give out a weak victory cigar to the Miami Dolphins for barely getting a victory against the New Orleans Saints team that is absolutely garbage. Sean Stanley, fire it off. Then let's give the Canes a victory cigar for their dominant win over Pittsburgh. They pulled away, which was really nice. Big victory cigar for them. I left them off the 3A graphic sports calendar. I forgot. Also, let's give a victory cigar to Inter Miami with a dominant 5-1 win over NYCFC. That was beautiful. Allende with the hat trick. That was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So, a lot of victory cigars. Oscar, you are correct today. 1,400-pound Devon. Tua doesn't care. Homie got his bag. Now just wants to die. Now just wants to not die on the field. Yeah, it's looking bad. Guillermo Rodriguez, Big O, glad you are seeing most of us been seeing from Tua for a long time. It's not that. It's that I give Tua, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for a certain amount of time because everything can't be blamed around him. Remember, let's not, Guillermo, relax. Everybody fails in Miami. Okay? Nobody succeeds in Miami. Jimmy Johnson came here to fail. Bill Parcells came here to fail. Nick Saban came here to fail. Marino failed. Don Shula failed. Everyone fails here. Ricky Williams fails. Dave Wanstead fails. Joe Philbin fails. Tannehill fails. Fiedler will fail. Tua fails. Gase, Ross, Huizinga. Everybody's a fucking failure here. So let's just also, and that's what I also look at. Nobody really can succeed with these clowns. It's just kind of the way it goes. It's a terrible organization. You know what I mean? So make sure you expand your horizons and understand that one player's failure is not all on him because he was a successful player early on. So things have changed. And now it's gotten to a point where you got a player that got his money, got his bag, he's comfortable. He's had so many injuries now here in the NFL level that's also softened him up. He has a couple of kids. So now Tua is playing like a player that is not training with the Hicks guy, that is not really giving a shit about what's going out on the field. And he also knows he doesn't really have the support anyways. Doesn't have an offensive line that's going to give him more than 2 seconds. You know what I mean? Doesn't have a coach that really gets it. Even when he's struggling yesterday, the guy still dialed up a couple of passes that he shouldn't have instead of more runs. But he's a moron. It is what it is. It's a terrible owner. It's an organization going nowhere. So it gives him no inspiration whatsoever. But he should have at least the professionalism that you see from a Brooks, from many other players like an Achane, who are completely selling out. So you have a player now in Tua who is broken down mentally and physically, has become human because now he has 2 kids and a wife and has gone through all kinds of injuries and scary concussions. So now he is playing scared, playing with no edge, and also, on top of all of that, he's a guy that is probably very little confidence at this point in time. But this is what happens when you have a terrible environment, when you've been beaten down, and now you've been given the money, and there's nothing else for you to play for anymore because you're not going to win. And so deep down inside, he knows he's not going to win. So it's hard for him to completely sell out anymore. So it's like it's an interesting
combination that's going on now. You know, there's a lot of the Rocky movie in there, that when Apollo Creed is ripping into Rocky because Rocky got soft, because he got all the money and everything else and all that stuff, and he had to come back to get his edge. And, you know, when he was working with Nick Hicks, he had an edge. You see him now, there's no edge. You see him on the podium. You know, I watched him yesterday, and I thought about Marino. If Marino would have played a shitty game, which Marino did play shitty games, by the way, and if Marino played a shitty game, he would have been in no mood. And he would have been ripping himself, and he would have not enjoyed taking questions, and he's certainly not smiling and giving shout outs to people, which I get it, you know, charity and all that bullshit. But, you know, there's a time and a place for everything. And he also has very little awareness of that too. He's also terrible at that, which shows right there again. But he has too much of a casual approach to his mediocre season. And that's what is coming across, that he doesn't really have that. He's not invested like he has been in the past, you know? And so that's the sad part. And I didn't want to jump all over him early on in the season when he's playing like shit, because there's other factors. Like in one play yesterday, there's 3 guys out there, and the timing route was completely off. They ran into each other like a bunch of boobs. That's because you have the idiot on the sideline always trying to outthink people, and instead of simplifying shit, he's always adding shit and creating more and more. And mentally, they can't handle it, obviously, because they're constant screw-ups. So either your coaching is shitty, or their IQ is not a high level. So, you know, that right there, that wasn't Tua's fault, but, you know, it is what it is. And it's just part of the whole mess. And I give him the benefit of the doubt for a certain amount of time, because he has played well in the past. And then I know that the situation around him is not perfect. It's actually bad. You know what I mean? For any quarterback, including this one, this is a bad situation. But when you're missing routine routes constantly, when your accuracy no longer is what normally is your superpower, then that tells me you're not focused, because you're supposed to excel at what you are good at. And there were several throws yesterday that there's no reason for him to miss it. None whatsoever. And that just tells me that there's a guy now that has completely lost his edge. And it's a guy that either lost his edge because he's beaten down from injuries, beaten down from confidence, beaten down from this organization, whatever it is, or beaten down that now he has 2 kids and a wife, and he has to really take care of himself. And you see how he gives himself up for sacks. You know what I mean? So there's just so much that piles on. But on top of all of that, I'm not Guillermo, where I don't hide from the fact that I just want to lay it on the quarterback. And that's the weakest shit out there. But there's a lot of you like that. So it's cool. It's your fans. You know, you don't really want to just say, you know what, bro, nobody succeeds here. It doesn't really matter what it is. You know what I mean? You fucked up Marino. You didn't maximize him. You had a chance with this kid. You screwed it up also. And here we are. And so who knows when they'll get a decent quarterback again. But when they do, they'll continue to do what they've done for decades. They'll continue to screw it up. That's it. So, you know, yeah, he's playing like shit, but there's a lot more to it. And the Dolphins deserve all the criticism, dude, top to bottom, from the owner, the front office, the coaching staff, all the way to the bottom. They all deserve it. Don't forget, folks, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation as always, and we appreciate it immensely. And you can send in your questions and comments and all kinds of good stuff, or insults, by the way, which that's always possible, right? Ho Yoon, thank you, sir, for your generosity as always on Venmo. Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ho Yoon, as always, thank you, sir. He says, hope your Thanksgiving was great. It was fantastic. I just finished, Ho Yoon, my 4th day of turkey yesterday. I had a sandwich because the rice and beans were done on Friday and Saturday. So Thursday I had the turkey and the dinner and all that. And then Saturday I had more turkey, rice, and beans. Friday. Then Saturday I had, again, they were both my lunches, were the leftovers. And then on Sunday there was still turkey left over, and I had myself a sandwich. I got a baguette, and I had myself a sandwich. So Thanksgiving, I'm actually a turkey fan. I don't mind eating turkey. I love turkey. I think it's actually absolutely delicious. And the way the old lady makes it, she makes a juicy turkey. It's not a dry turkey, which is key. I'm not a fan of dry turkey. That I will admit. Not good. Dry turkey, no good. No good. But thank you, Ho Yoon. Appreciate you, my brother. Ocala Joe, thank you for the love on Cash App. Appreciate you. Thank you. He says, morning, mixed feelings Monday. Yeah, that's kind of the way it goes. That's exactly what it is. Kind of mixed feelings today. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. And thank you, sir. Thank you for the donation. As always, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And don't forget Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom, Welt and Rayom, proud sponsors of our program. Give them a ring. If you need some lawyers that they're going to be bookend tackles for you, call Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom. The consultation is completely free, so you get to explain your entire situation, whatever it is: bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury, whatever happens to you, man. And if you have some kind of damage to your home or your business, don't call the insurance companies. Call Welton Rayom first. They will send their adjusters, and then they will attack the insurance company for you, all right? And if you're dealing with bankruptcy issues, which unfortunately it is growing, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. It could happen to me. It can happen to any of us, dude. We all live month to month, check to check. It is what it is, most of us at least. And so we understand how you can get tripped up. It can happen to any of us. So call Welton Rayom if you're dealing with that. They do exceptional work, and they can get you out of that hole. 954-966-4646. So how did we get here with TUA, with the Dolphins, with Mike McDaniel, with Chris Greer, with everything that has happened? Why are we in this position again? And this position is a little different than others. When you pulled the trigger on the draft for TUA, we can argue whatever, whoever you wanted, if you wanted Herbert or if you wanted TUA. I wanted Tristan Wirfs. Okay, the video's there. It's never been pulled or edited or whatever. It's all there. The draft show, everything, it's all there. I was never a Herbert fan because I still think he's Jeff George, an athletic Jeff George when it all is all said and done. And whenever he's in those positions, you'll find out. Or maybe I'll be wrong. We'll find out. But eventually, all those every time he's been in those kind of positions, he's been Jeff George. So TUA, I couldn't draft him because of the injury history is the only reason I mentioned. I always mention he can pass. There's one thing that the kid can do. He can pass. He is magical at that. But it's gone. So why are we here in this position? Well, we're here in this position because the front office, Chris Greer, Reggie McKenzie, Marvin Allen, and company They first made a bad decision on the coach and Brian Flores because he couldn't build an offensive staff. So, and, unfortunately for Chris Greer, he was around to watch Joe Philbin fail. And when you pull somebody from one organization that they've only been in one, like Joe Philbin was there for 15 years, and he didn't know any coaches. He didn't know the league because he hadn't been around the league. And one of the reasons why I did not like the Joe Philbin hire right from the get-go, and I told everybody, was he can't build a staff. And he's not a great communicator. And both ended up becoming like right on there. Like, boom, he's not the guy that you want as a head coach. The people told me in Green Bay. So we get Flores, who again locked into one organization and didn't know the league. So he couldn't build a staff. That was one of the problems. So you can't help your quarterback by building a staff. 2, where the front office failed, and this is why we're in this position, and they failed big time. When you pulled Tua from Alabama, he was successful because you saw the blueprint. Build a wall of Montezuma, give him a strong running game, give him receivers, obviously, but give him a tight end also to work with, and then he can do what he does. You won't need his athleticism because that's not who he is. You just need him to use his brain and his accuracy and anticipatory skills to get the ball out to the players. But in Miami, you have Jesse Davis and you have a whole bunch of other clowns that are playing offensive line. And then you don't have an offensive staff to teach them. So then the poor kid gets killed. And he has a head coach that hates him and doesn't want him. So none of that was productive. You didn't build the line in front of him. You didn't give him the running game, and you didn't give him the coaching staff. How's he going to win? Impossible. So he still did his best. He still won more than he lost. He still threw more touchdowns than interceptions. And then you bring in McDaniel, who has concepts, to use a word that some orange clown uses. He has concepts of how to run an offense, and he can, install a player too. But again, he had no value to guards. And so, again, you have the same player, and then what do you suffer? More injuries, concussions. And so now we get to a point where the kid is broken physically and mentally. You failed as an organization to do right by him, okay? And physically, he's not a freak. So, with this guy, you got away with it for a while because he's a freak. He can't move. He moves worse than Tua, but he's a freak. So, it's different. Tua's not freakish. He has abilities, but you have to help him in those processes. It's like Drew Brees. He has abilities, but you have to help him. But Sean Payton did. Sean Payton always gave him a line, always gave him a running game, always gave him a great tight end, and always gave him a big receiver. So if you don't understand your player, you will fail. And Chris Greer, Reggie McKenzie, Marvin Allen failed to understand the player that they drafted, failed to put the proper people around him to succeed. And in the end, you broke him down. And he was not built to take on a whole bunch of injuries and a whole bunch of concussions. Now we're at a point where he is too injured, too brittle, too concussed, and now he has the money, the wife, and the kids. Now he has a reason to live. Now he has a reason to slide. Now he has a reason to take the easy sack. Now he has the reason to say in the press conference, oh, I got to be better. Bro, I've been hearing that for weeks. When he said that yesterday, I was like, yeah, I don't want to hear that bullshit. You're not better. You're not trying. You're not really that guy that Nick Hicks got, to a point that's why you were playing that way. You had an edge. And now you don't have that edge. And this is who you are now. So this is why we're here at this point now. You had a window with him, but you ruined it. And I don't know if he's ever going to find it again because it's up to him now. And there's no motivation here for it because it's a shit organization. So I don't know if he moves on and he goes somewhere else that he does get motivated because he has a good coach, because he has a system that will complement him. I don't know. That's the part I don't know. But I do know is you easily could have won a Super Bowl with this kid. Easily could have won a Super Bowl with this kid. But what's gone on over the 6 years, all the injuries and the concussions, now the money, you've got the perfect storm. You've got the perfect storm for a football player that becomes a human being because he goes home to his kids, like some of us that have families, and I come home to my wife and my daughter, and that's all I can think of, and, in my mind right now, other things that you guys don't understand or know about privately for me, that's what I've been planning for several years now is how do I have an end game to take care of them? You know what I'm saying? And so I understand that part. And he's at a point now at a crossroad, and it looks like he reached that fork and said, yeah, I'm going to go live a life. The football player thing, it's kind of like the Andrew Luck thing that Andrew just got to the podium and said, yeah, I'm quitting football. It's pain, injury, rehab, pain, injury, rehab, pain, injury, rehab, and I'm tired of it. And I think that pain, injury, rehab thing has gotten to him, except he's not going to walk away from it. Andrew Luck will walk away from it because, he's at another level. He's going to go do some other things, and look at him now. He's the AD at Stanford. He's a genius, dude. He's that guy, but with athleticism. You know what I'm saying? And actually much smarter too. But overall, Tua is not going to do that. Tua's going to play the descarado. And he's going to do the quiet version of Jimmy Butler. And he's going to want you to kick him out. And he's going to want you to, cut him. And, they cut. And he'll get his guarantees and walk. He's not going to walk away from the money. He's not going to pull an Andrew Luck. But he's at a point where he just, some of it is understandable and some of it is disturbing because it shows a lack of professionalism on his part. But at the same time, what's he playing for? Why is he going to risk more injury? For this shit franchise? No. So it's not just a Tua thing. It's been Ricky walking away with, weed. It's Jimmy Johnson, his last year, bringing in Dave Wanstead and not doing jack shit and not even going to the Senior Bowl or the Combine. What we're watching now, this is shit that's gone on with other players, with people in the front office. This has been decades type thing that goes on with this franchise. And it kills the spirit of everyone that's here. It killed the spirit of Jimmy Johnson. It obviously killed out the spirit of Shula. Saban came here and he couldn't get it done. Parcells couldn't get it done. It's a lot deeper than just one player. Okay? So yeah, it's just Tua now, but it's many other people in the past. And many other situations that you can start to think of if you want, and I can give you more examples. But, this is who this organization is, has been, always will be, because you have terrible ownership. And you don't have an ownership. Mickey Harrison takes over and says, let me go get Pat Riley. You know, Joe Robbie in his early days went and got Shula. Vinny Viola gets Bill Zito. Just say Nick Zito. Bill Zito. Great owners identify immediately what they need to then move to the next level. We have on the football side, we just have never had it after Robbie and after Robbie's early decisions, obviously. But since then, we just don't have it. It's kind of the way it goes. So that's how we got here. This is why we're here. And this problem runs so much deeper than one person or one executive or one coach or whatever it is. It's just a Rolodex of problems that have gone on over the years, and it continues. And this is just a new one. You know, it'll be Bullygate, and it'll be something else, and it'll be something else, and it'll be something else. And it's just a soap opera of soap operas of soap operas. It's Jimmy Johnson hovering over Shula, and, you know, it's soap opera after soap opera after soap opera, and none of this shit works, dude. You know, so when you go up in the air and go up to 40,000 feet and you take a look from, you know, now if you want to be short-sighted and you just want to focus on TUA and all that, you go ahead. But the problem is from above. That's kind of the way it goes. There we go. Okay. Dolphin Dave is in the house. TJ Superman, Stoney Stanley, Gus 1388, Luis Notare in the Jersey Shore, Oliveira in the house, True Fin Fan, J-Town, Horn Dog, NorCal, Lenny Pena. Let's see, Jaybird, Think Blue Dodgers. Let's see, the Blonde 94. What else? Chimp Shock, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Thank you. David says tariffs paid by other countries will pay for basic income for people when AIM takes all jobs, or when AI takes all jobs. Yeah, the tariffs are paid by others. Yeah, they're not paid by us. Yeah, of course, David. No, not at all. Sometimes we're not the brightest bulb in the chandeliers. Let's see, Brian Radke. Horn Dog loving the hot tub time machine. Frankie Fresco buying the dip. Yeah, you guys bought a dip too with the Gators, right? You bought like some altcoin for a coach? You could have gone like, you know, an Ethereum, a Bitcoin, something legit, an Avalanche or something. You guys hired like a Melania coin? Man, Frankie. Holy crap. Yes, Lenny Pena. Tomlin did win his Super Bowl Bill Cowher's teams. Yes, like a lifetime ago. Exactly. Horn Dog says it's too early to have the conversation, but if Tomlin, then who? The guy wanted is killing it in Boston. Right. Well, that's who I wanted last year I wanted them to fire McDaniel in the Colts game last year and go get Vrabel so you could get ahead of everybody and just hand them the keys. And, I just talked about this. I just talked about our organization. They do stupid things on a consistent basis. They don't assist their players. Like the whole Ricky Williams thing. You couldn't find a quarterback. You couldn't find a passing game, so you just ran him right into the ground. And he's like, bro, there ain't enough weed in the world to just offset this pain. So he left. It's just, this is what we do, bro. This is what we do. Yep. Relishing the 180 you've done in Mike Tomlin as much as did my Thanksgiving holiday. You got it, Kosa. What else? Frankie Fresco, please tell me the last losing season for Tomlin. Don't really care. What's he won? He doesn't win anything. He gets eliminated right away in the playoffs. They make no run anymore. They do nothing. Look at all the players the last few years. Disaster, dude. Disaster. And the George Pickens thing makes him look like a freaking clown. Like, you don't let go of a player like that. You find a way to showcase that player. You couldn't, because you can't get a quarterback. What else do we have? Pat in Nashville says Aaron Rodgers' helmet looks like the one you could get for Christmas from the Sears catalog. Fernando in the house. He says Tua is not focused. I would agree with that. What else? What else do we have here? Rooting for Duke to blow the ACC up since the Canes are not getting in. Well, Canes got what they deserved, unfortunately. Don't lose to stinking Louisville. You get what you deserve, bro. You know? It is what it is. Big O, the Moss brothers, a.k.a. Crazy Cubans, may run Inter Miami in a crazy way and spend crazy money, but they might equal the Marlins record and win a championship 5 years after hitting the field. Yeah, dude. I mean, bro, they have to win. Oscar, you can't spend the amount of money that they spend on that roster, which is not even close. Second place is not even close in the MLS. You have to win. Last year, the first year, Messi got here too late and they were too deep in the hole to get that was just impossible. Okay? And they still almost pulled it off. But last year, you had to win it. You were the number one team. You're paying a ridiculous amount of money. So losing in the first round was the biggest choke job in the world. They got to win it all this year. They cannot lose on Sunday at all, or Saturday, I'm sorry. They cannot lose on Saturday. They must win. All right? It's unfair, their roster compared to everybody else in the MLS when you look at the money they're spending. So you better win, dude. You better win. Ocala Joe says, hate to say this, but I think we should have seen this coming from all the ass clowns that have passed through this organization, GM, coaches, players, etc. Yeah. Yeah. You are correct. You are correct. No doubt about that. Sean, please help me. I got a little bit of a cold, so I got to clear my throat, baby.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricane of fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Your mic, your mic.
Sorry, folks. I always turn down the mic just in case I'm blowing my nose, and it's like, I don't want you guys hearing this. I don't think you will, because I think he cuts it up, but just in case. So I have to then raise it. But by the way, the folks at Subaru of Pembroke Pines are proud sponsors of our program, and Alan does great work out there. By the way, Subaru of Pembroke Pines will be having a sister store in the Kendall area soon. We'll be talking about that. But the 2026 models are in. They've got no payments till 2026. Like the Forester right now, $249 a month. You got a 36-month lease. Take advantage of it. They got 1.9% financing. The Outback 2025 model, $229 a month, 0% financing. It is absolutely crazy. $229 a month. Crosstrek, $189 a month for the Crosstrek, and a great selection also of Crosstrek. 1.9% financing. Just sick. The Legacy, $259 a month, 2.9% financing. Subarus are built here in America, folks, so you can save yourself money. The Ascent, the Premium, $359 a month. It is a beautiful vehicle. It's loaded, 1.9% financing. The Impreza, great vehicle to start off for any young driver, $169 a month, 2.9% financing. Forester Premium Hybrid, $439 a month, only 3.9% financing. Take advantage. Reach out to the folks there at Subaru. Go see Eric Stampone. They will take care of you, man. Good people out there at, of course, Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Oh, and by the way, mention our name. You will get $500 off. Buy or lease. So when you get there, right there, you can scan, use our code, whatever. But when you get there, you tell them, hey, man, Big O sent me. I get $500 off when I'm buying or leasing a vehicle. So make sure you mention that because I want you to get the $500 off, man. You know what I'm saying? Get the $500 off, cuz. All right. Don't forget, smash the like button, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation also. What'd you think, Sean, of Ole Miss not allowing Lane Kiffin to coach the playoffs? Like, it's expected, right? But did you agree with it? Just out of curiosity. You understand it, but did you agree with it at all?
I mean, after listening to Lane Kiffin and like all of this is a very dirty breakup. So out of that, yes, I agree with it. But normally I would say, you know, they should coach. They should finish what they start with the team and the players that are there.
He's going to take your assistant coaches no matter what. He's going to take whatever players no matter what. And so here's my problem. And they would have a big problem with me there, of course, you know, because if I had to broadcast there, you're Ole Miss, dude. I don't know. I might have let Lane Kiffin coach and let that for the people there finish the job and see what they could do, because if they do win a national championship, it's still an Ole Miss national championship. And then the coach that won a national championship moves on, but now you're a national championship winner. I'm not saying that you would have won. I understand the bitterness and letting him go to LSU and not letting him, but you're Ole Miss. Okay, so I just wanted to have some fun. And I want to look at their records before Lane Kiffin. 7-6, 8-5, 9-4. There's a 10-3, 5-7, 3-9, 9-4, 9-4, 4-8, 2-10, 10-3. 4-7, 3-8, 4-8, 3-9, 8-4, 7-5, 7-4, 7-6. I'm just sorry, Ole Miss. What do you think you're going to be after Lane leaves? So I get it that you're mad that he's leaving for LSU, or if he would have left for Florida. Okay, you are what you are. You know, the U was a stepping stone for a long time, and they would keep winning national championships. And yet coaches came here because they knew they had a chance to win a national championship and then move on. You know, I get your bitterness at Ole Miss, and I get all of this, but that was the inevitable. You married a gypsy. So what'd you expect? The gypsy was going to stay at FAU. We just counted the days. We knew the Lane train was going to go somewhere. So I understand you don't want him to coach and all that, but you're Ole Miss. You know, this is a chance for you to build some kind of legacy. And without him, you definitely don't have a chance in the playoffs. So this is where I would have kind of done the unthinkable. I would have left him coach, because if by chance I even get to the championship game or win it, even when he leaves, I have more cachet moving on to the next person and moving on to the next class of players and all that kind of stuff, because now I've created a program that has an environment to win a national championship. But now, it's not going to be that. So I get it. I totally understand the situation, why they did it, but you're Ole Miss. I might have handled it a little different. If you're LSU, if you're Alabama, if you're Michigan, I can understand those programs pushing the guy away and moving on. But you're Ole Miss. I don't know, man. You might have been more beneficial to keeping the guy around even for the playoff run. Just saying. All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk a little basketball with the one and only Ira Winderman and our Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
Good morning, Ira. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing good, getting ready for an interesting Heat week. Tyler Hero 2.0, the second week back. See if they regress, if they step forward. Interesting times, but they built that little bit of a cushion that they now can work through things if they need to and still be well placed.
Yeah, no, I'm good, and we'll get to that in a second. Just out of curiosity, what would you have done in Ole Miss? Now you heard my.
I would have. I heard you before I came on. I would have had Lane coach to the end, except for one thing, and this is, I think, where maybe you missed a little because of the recruiting period. Can you have a coach playing for a championship in one place and recruiting for a different team? That's the problem. Now, if Mississippi gets a great name coach in right away, Brian Kelly, and they get someone in who can do that and swap with LSU, that's the thing. If college football, Big O, wants to be a professional sport, which it has become, it should go to adopting a professional sports schedule. Because, Big O, can you imagine if there was free agency in the NFL before the Super Bowl or before the playoffs? That's insane. In basketball and any other sport, you don't hold your draft till the season's over. If college football wants to become Saturday professional football, which is what it is already, then adjust your schedule. Then saying no coaching changes, no coaching hires in this period during the playoffs. The window, I don't care what the window traditionally used to be. Remember, Big O, there was one recruiting window, February 1st, the first week of February, and that's it. There wasn't an early signing period in December. There weren't a transfer portal. So what do they have? They basically have two things. Their version of free agency is the transfer portal. Their version of the draft is the signing period. So do what the NFL or other places do. The NFL does their signing period first, then their draft. The NBA does their draft, then their signing period. Make up your mind. But you know what? Don't give me this, because I asked my son, why is it this way? He goes, Dad, it's because of the academic calendar. Has anyone been checking in on Carson Beck's grades? How's he doing? Is he going to miss practice because he has to go to study hall? The fact that we're tying education to Saturday pro football in the first place is the problem. Yeah. Adjust your schedule. Then it becomes simple. Then Lane Kiffin gets to finish his job unimpeded, without questions about his overall intentions, and you get to go from there.
Right. And recruiting no going on during that time either at the same time. So you can keep everything frozen until that moment, until the playoffs.
Your windows change. No one can go out. No one can do anything. We're going to focus on the playoffs. We've expanded to 12. We've made it our moneymaker. When something is your moneymaker, you don't go out and say, forget the Super Bowl. We're going to start free agency now and have people buzzing about that instead. That's a problem.
Yeah, no, I agree. That definitely would help out. But I just think Ole Miss is going to go back to being Ole Miss.
Absolutely. But that's not even that. But the committee, and we've heard this before, and Florida State didn't have their quarterback, and they didn't make the championship because of that, because he was out. So what is Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin? Okay. Are they what their record says they are? Or is their record what they used to be before him? And the committee has to decide that, because this isn't the NFL, where X amount of wins gets you in, or the NBA. This is, well, we're going to sit around and decide a little bit and see what happens if BYU upsets Texas Tech. So it's all, it's so unprofessional, but the money is gigantic. I mean, look at the Gators just hired their football, basically GM. College teams have general managers. The world has changed. Change the schedule also.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. All right. Saturday night was awesome because you played the best team in the conference. So, it is what it is. But for you to make that comeback, that was a really fun comeback, dude. And they had their chance even to win that game right there, too. That showed me a ton of character. And I know there are no moral victories or none of that, but it just shows me the focus and the effort of this team all the way to the end. And I the other day when they had like a 13-point lead, they were pressuring people with 40-something seconds left. You know what I mean? It was like that. Just the fight in this team was impressive.
And again, countlessly in our Accurate Pembroke Pines report, we talk about Eric Spoelstra pushing buttons. So here's a guy, hey, I'm just not going to play Simone Fontecchio because he's 3 for 25 in his last 3. Give him a break. I'm not going to play Nikola Jovic in the second half if he looked that awful in the first half, or at least not in the fourth quarter. So you know what? That's what happens when you have a coach who has control. He can push buttons and make decisions, not wondering what the boss thinks or who has to play or who's getting paid. He played his best players at the end. It also showed you, which I never thought I would say based on last season, this phrase. You ready, Big O?
Yep.
How much they missed Jaime Jaquez Jr. We never would have said that last year. Now you can see that little energy burst that he adds in the second quarter or in the second rotation. And in the third quarter, when he comes off the bench, they lack that boost, so they had to fight to the finish. So you can see how things are happening here. Wheels are turning. A lot of moving parts right now.
Well, it's a yin and a yang. You have the guys in the perimeter doing their thing, but you need that guy that can penetrate and create the easy basket.
Absolutely. Yes.
And you can't take it for granted how easy Jaquez is making it look.
Yes.
Because it's not that easy, yet he's making it look that easy. So it just shows you fundamentally how his game changed so much that he really has found a place for himself.
A niche, and he's a must-play kind of player. And you're absolutely right on that. And that's the thing is, so that's why you don't give up on people. So that's why everyone's saying, oh, Niko Jovic is a bum now. Give it time. The kid's 22 years old. Has he been awful? Yes, with a capital A. But you know what? We're only 1 quarter through the season. There is still time to find a better fit for him or not, and let him develop, and then you move forward. I'm not worried about the contract extension. It kicks in next season. He'll be a year older. Look at Jaime Jaquez a year older and a year later. This team will find a way to make the most out of you. But again, it's nice that Eric Spoelstra has so many buttons to push that if not this guy, then Pelle Larsson, then Drew Smith, and he has other guys also. That's what makes this roster really fun, is that there can be a plan B and a plan C that is almost as effective as your plan A.
Well, that's the other shocker, too, is that the depth that they have on this team, because so many young guys are playing well.
Yes.
And because of that, all of a sudden now he has a second wave of players that he can turn to on the bench, which, at times he didn't have that luxury. And sometimes he was limited to his 7 or 8 man rotation that he can do. Now he's sitting there, he can roll 9 or 10 guys, and there's still 1 or 2 that haven't played.
Yeah, and again, so there'll be tough decisions, but like Eric Spoelstra always says, those are good problems. Give me too many of those problems of who I'm not going to play that a guy like Simone Fontecchio, who is red hot on 3 early in the season, isn't, so you can still shoot almost 50% on threes by utilizing your other components there and guys who have improved also. It's a fun roster, and every game there will be decisions that you and I can come back once a week on our Accurate Pembroke Pines report and go, why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? And you can make both arguments. That's all you want from your roster.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there 100%. Does Jovic, I don't know if you see it or whatever, does he gravitate to Jaquez? Does he use Jaquez as an example? Because Jaquez had a shit year last year, and he went into the abyss, and he's come completely out of the abyss, playing well and with a ton of commercials. So I'm just wondering if Jovic looks at that and says, you know, because it doesn't seem like he has a shit attitude about it. It looks like he's trying to attack it, but I'm just wondering, how is he, you know, emotionally when it comes to all of this?
You know what? I asked this question. I started asking this question in the postgame the other day, and I go to Eric Spoelstra. I ask him, so with Nico's confidence, and he cut me off. And he says, this is the NBA. This is the big boy league. This isn't about confidence. This is about putting the work, doing your job, getting better during our shoot-arounds and our walkthroughs and our practices. You have to be proactive. So if Nico is looking for sympathy, none is forthcoming, because this is the big time. These are the big boys. The train is not waiting. So Nico has to get his head straight. That's part of it also. But he also has to be proactive. Jaime Jaquez Jr. looked at the end of last season and said, what do I got to do better to fit in here? And he got better. Nico has to do that a little bit more. He can't lament, well, with the Serbian national team, I get to do that. Nikola Jokic is not walking through that door to help him here. It's a different mindset. Summer League's a different mindset. So again, there are always two factors. Your physical skills. Nikola Jovic is very skilled, but it's also up here. It's also the head game. How can you keep your head in the game? That's where he has to, like so many 22-year-olds, grow up.
Yeah. Injury-wise, how are we going into this game tonight?
Well, we still don't know about Jaime Jaquez Jr. because of the groin, although Norm Powell came back after a one-game groin absence. Jaime did practice yesterday. Interestingly, Big O, I spoke to Norm, and I said, Norm, I don't get it. The last time you missed a week with a groin, this time just one game. He told me he still has the groin strain, but it's in a place where the doctors told him it won't get worse by playing. So he's been assured of that. So Norman Powell is not 100% now. But he's enough of a percent, and we see this in guys, that he's a gamer and wants to get out there. I'll give you one other interesting factor. Tyler Hero becomes ineligible for any NBA award that he might or might not make if he misses one more game. I'm going to find it really curious to see how much he pushes through to make that 65-game limit, just in case guys get hurt. He has a really good year. He's been scoring like crazy. I mean, 29, 24, 32. He's been getting the numbers. So I'm just curious how he pushes. And again, then that's something the team has to go to him and say, look, we know you might want an award, but you might have to rest in this spot or that spot. So that NBA rule of not missing more than 17 games, I think really is unfair for players who miss time early and then come back, as if they don't get another rest day, when for Tyler and for the Heat, resting him might be the way to go.
Well, and by the way, the Norman Powell thing, while he has a little bit of a groin issue, what allows him to kind of pace himself a little bit more now is that Tyler's on the floor,
yes,
and that scoring load off him, because if you didn't have Tyler, that might put a little bit more of a strain on him.
Or even this depth, or someone like all of a sudden Pelle Larsson you can trust, or Drew Smith you can trust, that they have so many buttons that they could push that every game there's going to be a guy, I'm going to come in our Accurate Pembroke Pines report and saying, wow, I'm surprised Fonteca didn't play. I'm surprised Jovic didn't play. Right. I'm surprised Drew Smith didn't play. That's just part of having this kind of talent. You match up against the opposition. Since we're talking ahead of the Clippers game and we're talking about Tyler, the defense. And I just wonder how they're going to compensate it. And Big O, we saw this. Cleveland saw Tyler in the playoffs last year and ate him alive defensively. The end of that game, Cade Cunningham literally had binoculars. Where's Tyler? I want the pick and roll over there. I want Tyler on me. James Harden.
But hold on a second. But that's a little unfair, that comparison, because Cade Cunningham is going to burn practically everybody in the league.
Yeah, fair.
I can't ever expect, I got to give Tyler, he's getting effort points for trying on defense.
He tries.
He is.
We all have limitations. Yes.
But I was never going to expect him to be a Cade Cunningham stopper. I'm sorry.
And he's not set up that way. But if the Heat are going to play their switching defense, you're going to get caught. And don't you for a minute think that James Harden is not going to sit there and say, where's Tyler Hero here? Call whoever he's guarding, call him up. Let's run a pick and roll.
Yeah, they have to can also say, where's James Harden too, by the way.
And true, the other way. But here's the difference. The Heat have an extension decision to make. The last few times the Heat have gone the big bucks, Big O, when they gave it to Jimmy Butler, was like, whoa, this is a mistake. It was a mistake. They got smart last year. They pulled back. They said no extension. You're going to have to decide if you can't trust Tyler at the end of games, that you are subbing him out on clutch time on defense. Is that guy a $45 to $50 million player? Or is that a case where you have to come to a different thought? That's why I think it was smart the Heat, number one, didn't extend Tyler. No offense to Tyler. He had a great season last year. Haven't currently moved ahead with extension talks with Norm Powell. Let's see how this all meshes. We have time to see how this comes together before the February trading deadline, before Norm Powell's window closes, before Tyler Hero's window opens up again. Let's not rush to judgment. It's one thing at Niko Jovic at $14 million a year. It's another thing to a player at $40 million a year.
All right, we talk about Jaquez, but another guy that's really settled in nicely is Wiggins. I think he has really found a nice groove for himself right now.
As a complementary component, which he was at his best with Golden State, and he can be at his best with the Heat. And that's what makes it so complex for Eric Spoelstra is this. If you have to start Bam, which you do, and you have to start Norm, which you do, and you have to start Tyler because he's a starter, and you have to start Wiggins, you only have one spot of wiggle room, which is why we're having these debates. Should they start Kalel? Hey, he's played well rebounding in his minutes. Should they start Davion? My God, he's a defensive monster. His assisted turnovers are better than the Tim Hardaway era. Tough decisions. That's why I think this lineup should remain fluid. And if the opponent goes big,
depending on the matchups.
Yes, if the opponent goes big and they have a 4 and a 5, and you want the height of Kalel on Zubats, for example, against the Clippers, play big. No one need be offended, but that's the thing. If you trust the other 4 implicitly to be starters, then you have to have a flexibility. So I think it'll be really interesting, 1, how Eric Spoelstra deals with it, 2, but can the players like Kalel and Davion be egoless to the point that, okay, I'm a reserve today, but I'll still give the same effort.
All right, you talked about a little bit about to open the segment. You talked about how they have a little bit of a buffer now from what they've done to start the season. Well, guess what? Tonight is a buffer game, baby. The Clippers are a disaster. They're losing to everybody. They're like, I don't know, like 4-13 or some crap.
They're the second worst team in the Western Conference behind the god-awful New Orleans Pelicans. But I say this because this is the NBA. You still have Harden, you still have Kawhi coming in. That could be 60 points between the two of them. They both can't go off. One can go off. That's the difference. You still have to play defense. And remember, on that lineup I just gave you, if you're starting Norm Powell and you're starting Tyler Hero, your perimeter defense, other guys have to compensate, especially when you don't have the shot blocking of Kalel in there. So I think this becomes somewhat of a challenge in case those guys go off, in case Tyler winds up in foul trouble.
Oh, yeah. Again, I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying this is a very winnable game right now.
And the Heat have mostly taken advantage of winnable. Now, when another team has come in without an Anthony Davis, when another team has come in without a leading man, now Jalen Duren wasn't there for the Pistons on Saturday. That should have benefited the Heat. They couldn't take full advantage. They got close at the end. But yes, when Giannis isn't playing, you've got to win those. Because you know what? You're going to have your games when Bam isn't playing, when Norm isn't playing, when Tyler isn't playing. So you have to bank the opposition having guys out as well. Totally agree on that.
All right, what else you got going on in the Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Well, I mean, just the fact that the NBA Cup is coming and that next week we're going to have our Acura Pembroke Pines Monster NBA Cup preview before that huge Orlando game. You know what, Big O? It's adding a little bit of a buzz, and I don't want to overstate it.
You beat Orlando. I don't give a shit about the NBA Cup. That is a nice measuring stick for me.
And you play them twice. You have them. It's crazy. They play Orlando on Friday, come home to play Sacramento, take Sunday, Monday off, go right back to Orlando for the NBA Cup game. I don't like how it's a disjointed schedule, how fans don't know who is playing where. I think that's difficult. But you know what? If I'm sitting here in December and I can honestly tell you the Heat have a game with meaning, hey, I'm all in that as well.
How are owners like Mickey Harrison knowing they're going to lose a home game?
They're not. They're going to get totally covered. That's all built into the souffle. The league will make a payment. If you remember last year, the Knicks were down one home game because of the way their cup schedule played out. All of a sudden, the Pistons gave them their home game against the Knicks, and it was moved from Detroit to New York. So the owners who have the power, the team will draw, they'll be compensated. No one in the NBA is losing money. God bless Nick Harrison and Nicky Harrison. Yeah. They'll come out just fine here. I feel for the players and a grueling schedule that could have them a week from now in Orlando on Tuesday, flying Wednesday to Vegas, having to play in Vegas on Saturday, maybe Vegas the following Tuesday. Right from there, going to Brooklyn, going to Boston, going to New York, being on the road 11 days. That's where the scheduling hurts for the tournament because you don't know where you're going to be day to day, hour to hour. Hell, I might be calling you in 2 weeks from Las Vegas.
So then does Spoelstra really take this? I mean, he's going to take every game serious because
it's who he is. Yes, it's who he is. But look, there's a perfect scenario out there, Big O. They could play in Orlando next week, not wishing this on anyone, and lose. Get 5 days off and get Toronto at home and literally never leave the state of Florida for 2 weeks. Now, you won't get your cup and you won't get your player bonus, but you'll get your rest. That's what you weigh also.
Although player bonus for some of those guys on the Heat roster who are young. That's
if you're Keyshawn Johnson and you're making $2 million, which is a pretty good salary, but you can get another $500,000. Who in one day gets a 25% salary boost? So it matters for those players. Hey, guys like Jimmy Butler, they're making almost $1 million a game. They're taking a loss. When they play in that 83rd game that doesn't count in the standings, the Cup Championship game, they're playing for less than their market value. Right now, we're getting to the point with Luka's extension. Players are making, sorry folks, $1 million a game. That's the difference. So I don't know if they have to raise the cup money, but yeah, for the Pelle Larsons and the Keyshawn Johnsons, the Drew Smiths, hey, it's a huge payday. They want to cash in.
By the way, is it starting already in Golden State that they're all complaining and Jimmy's whining?
If Jimmy Butler is not bitching, then it's not a day that ends with a Y. It's who he is. So glad to be out of headaches. It's interesting when it comes to trade deadline. We mentioned in our previous accurate Pembroke Pines reports, the John Morants and other guys. Hey, let's stay headache free for a while and just enjoy the game. Right, Big O?
You know, I'm kind of backed away from the John Morant thing now.
Thank you.
I watching this team right now and watching the way he continues to act, it's like John Morant doesn't really get it. And again, you know, the Heat can reach a lot of people, but sometimes they don't reach everybody. And that's one guy I'm afraid you might not be able to reach because
so the people who want to aggregate, it's at Big O Show, which is why the Heat might be better off with Drew Smith and John Morant. Have at it.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of it's because you're going to lose Tyler for him. I get it, and that's where you're like, oh, I don't know, man.
Wiggins, or a component that's actually contributing. Yeah.
Yeah. And will he get it? That's the weird part. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Ira, as always, thank you, my friend. We will catch up next week.
Next week from our NBA Cup studios. Thank you, Big O.
You got it, my brother. Appreciate you. The NBA Cup. All right. Acura Pembroke Pines. We were there on Friday hanging out. Sean and I, like always. And you could get on down there to 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. They've got the Season of Performance sales event going on right now. The Integra 2025 model, $169 a month, 3.9% financing for 60 months. The ADX, $239 a month, 4.9% financing for 60 months. The RDX, $359 a month, 4.9% financing for 60 months. And the TLX, $339 a month, 4.9% financing for 60 months. They've also got a ton of certified pre-owned vehicles. So you've got a large selection there if you own or lease one. By the way, the service center there with Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber are second to none. Go visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Finest dealership in the business, baby. It is Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA Report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new ADX. Only $299 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Realm. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
We're back. Thank you as always, and we appreciate Ira Winderman joining us on the program. Bitcoin at a beautiful 84,550. I've said it before. I would not be surprised if we test 80, 82 again one more time, and we bounce, and then we're going past 100 again. I can see that quantitative easing is going to start now. It starts today, December 1st. So the printing press will start. They will lower the rates this month. There's like a 90% chance that there's going to be a rate cut, and it's going to be a rate cut. Trump's going to announce who's going to be his Fed chair. The Hassett guy, who looks like a character from South Park, probably will be the Fed chair. He is a perfect puppet, and he will cut a whole bunch, and we are going to see an absolute boom for crypto, for stocks, the mighty seven, over the next couple of months here. So you're gonna definitely get it. So we're gonna see that turnaround. Let's see. What else do we have going on in the world of? Oh, and Michael Saylor today, by the way, bought 130 Bitcoin for $11.7 million, 89,960 per coin. He now has 650,000 Bitcoin at $48.38 billion at a price of 74,436 per coin, which that 74K is right around the number that it takes to produce an entire Bitcoin, the amount of energy it takes to produce a entire Bitcoin. That's why, this is going to dominate, because money is energy. Money is actually valuable now, instead of having no value, where it is just printed out of thin air and multiplied and minimized and devalued, and so this is what's going to end up changing. And by the way, we thank our friends at R&M Contractors, Ray and Mike, because every time we're talking crypto, Ray and Mike. They're the reasons why. Follow them on Instagram at RMC Fisher Island. And if you live in Dade and Broward, whether you live in a home or a condo, business, you need a complete remodel, maybe kitchen upgrades with appliances, waterproofing your terrace, balcony, and a flood test report, impact windows, door installations, bathroom upgrades, floor restorations, call Ray and Mike at R&M Contractors, 305-345-3649. And we appreciate them, as always, for our crypto segments. Miami won in spite of Tua, says Pettis. I would Tua kept the Saints in the game yesterday. That's how bad Tua was yesterday. He kept the Saints in the game. Okay? Think about that. The dude kept the opposing team in the game. That's how bad Tua played. And it's just a shame, but this is where we're at. Now, does it matter in the end? No, because it's a terrible team and it's going nowhere with whatever quarterback they have. So it is what it is. But what are you going to do? We're stuck with what we're stuck with. A garbage owner and a garbage head coach. What else do we have? Jeff in Long Island is in there. What do we got? Let me see. Anything interesting? Pay Achan and Brooks. Those are two solids from both sides of the ball. I agree, J-Town. Let's see. Anyone who hires Lane Kiffin should know that he'll do them dirty. Exactly. Yeah. This could be his final stop now at LSU because, there's really not much to go above LSU. So if you can win there, the only thing that could happen to him there is get fired. But if he wins, he'll be there for a long time, man. I would have gone to Florida. But that's just me, I would rather live in Florida and live in Gainesville than Baton Rouge. I'm sorry. Nothing against Louisiana. Been there several times, but not necessarily the sexiest of states. Okay? That little stretch there, Mississippi and Louisiana. Yeah. I mean, even New Orleans, it's like a couple of streets, and then after that, there's nothing else. That's it. It is what it is. I'm sorry. Thank you, Frankie. Yeah, it's a great shirt. Yeah. And for those of you who don't know what I'm wearing, some dude there, I don't know, Squared Circle Digest, I don't know. Some I don't know. You've heard of the guy, right, Sean? You've heard of that idiot, right? You don't know him either? You should catch his show. Let's see. Nico has been looking like an NBA player as of late. Has not been looking, yes. Nico has looked like shit. Yes, he has looked like crap. The Heat will not win a championship with TH. Very good offensive player. Nico needs to grow up quickly. Well, the Heat isn't going to win a title at all with this team. They got to get stars. But, hey, it is what it is. It's a transition year, and enjoy the young guys growing up. You know what I mean? What else do we have? Thomas, yesterday's game made me miss Chad Henne. At least Henne tried to do right. He's so bad too. Dolphin Dave says, so Big O, how the best team in the NFL right now is the Rams and the Bears. New England, I am going Seattle. Yeah, dude, how did the Rams lose to the Panthers? Dude, the Panthers are the weirdest team. They're 7-6. Wow. Let's see. The Dolphins are winning in spite of Steve. Well, the Dolphins aren't winning anything. They have a losing record, bro. You know what I mean? Just because they've won a few in a row, but they're still a bunch of losers. You know what I'm saying? What else do we have? HN leaves another team. He will rush for 1,500. He might rush for 1,500 yards here. What are you talking about? He's produced games of 170 yards. You know what I mean? He's got 5 left. He can get 1,500 yards here. So, Big O, has Fiji called you yet? They should sponsor you always on the. Yeah, no, that's true. They should. Fiji should be a sponsor of our program. Lord knows I'm loyal as hell to Fiji. Right? They should be loyal to me since we give them publicity every damn day, pretty much. It is what it is. What can I tell you? All right, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation, and you can send in your questions, comments, and insults. Bills defeat. What's it called? Pittsburgh 26-7. The fire Tomlin chants. Pittsburgh is now 6-6. I've been telling you from the beginning of the year, Pittsburgh is a fraud, and it is what it is. Shador did not get the win against the Niners. I mean, Niners won 26-8. They're 9-4, dude. This guy Shanahan has done an absolutely awesome job, dude. Awesome job. Shador was 16 of 25, 149 yards and a touchdown. Didn't play bad, but didn't play great either. But again, it's just a tough situation. Not a lot of talent on that team. So it is what it is. Bad organization. Jags over the Titans. Poor Cam. 24 of 38, 141 yards and another loss. They're 1-11. He's ripping the coach too. Jags are 8-4. The Jets, who the Dolphins play next, beat the Falcons 27-24. The Jets are 3-9. Panthers over the Rams 31-28. Carolina 7-6. Bryce Young, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. It's crazy stuff. And by the way, the Raiders lost again, 31-14. Tom Brady. His Raiders are 2-10. His pick, Austin Gentry, a robust 15 rushes for 31 yards. What a pick by him. And then Chip Kelly was his selection for OC. And apparently, because of the disappointing season that the Raiders have had, reports are that Tom Brady's going to be even more proactive and hands-on. Wow. Aren't you Raiders fans looking forward to that? The man that brought you Chip Kelly? The man that brought you Austin Gentry? The man that brought you Geno, because they did not approve signing Geno unless if you have a quarterback in the organization, you're going to ask him his opinion about a quarterback. Tom Brady's going to be more hands-on next year. So if I'm a Raiders fan, I am looking forward to that. That is awesome right there. Can't wait. Sean, again, give me 30 seconds, sir, please. Must clean my throat.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
Mike again. Mike. Your mic. Mike.
Thank you out there. Sorry about that. All right. Thank you for hanging in there. Anyway, let me get to a little music, by the way. I always like doing a little music. What the hell? We haven't done any music. Let's get to musicians who's celebrating birthdays today on Le Programme. Don't forget, smash. Come on, man. Get us over 100 here. Let's see. December 1st. Who was born on December 1st? Tyler Joseph, the singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, record producer, rapper, lead vocalist for 21 Pilots. Right. Born in 88. Janelle Monáe. She is knockout beautiful, man. American singer, songwriter, rapper, and she's a lot more risque in live too. By the way, I've seen her live at the Fillmore. She's good, man. She's good. She's really talented, but she is gorgeous, man. Really gorgeous. Born in 85. Brad Delson, one of the guitarists and founding members of Linkin Park, born in 77 on this date. Greg Upchurch, drummer with Three Doors Down, born in 71. Sam Reed, founding keyboardist with the Canadian rock band Glass Tiger. Don't forget me when I'm gone. Born in 63 for Stephen Reed. Let's see who else is celebrating birthdays today. Gwen Dickey, British singer, best known as the frontwoman for the R&B band Rose Royce. I'm wishing on a star. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see what else. A little car wash too, of course. She was born in 53, just in case I didn't mention it. Celebrating her birthday today. Oliver Brown, percussionist with Casey and the Sunshine Band, born in 46. Bette Midler, born in 45. Please see the movie The Rose. She did a great job there. John Densmore from The Doors, the drummer, born in 44 on this date. Eric Bloom, guitarist, vocalist for Blue Oyster Cult. Don't Fear the Reefer. Okay. Just got to change the lyric. Born in 44 for Eric Bloom. Let's see who else. You'll never find dun, 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 another love like mine. Lou Rawls, born in 1936 on this date. This is a pretty good list, man. Strong ass list, I gotta say. All right. That's good for musicians. Let's go with other famous people born on this date. If I don't give you an age, that means they have passed away, unfortunately. Baseball Hall of Fame member Walter Alston, born in 1911. World Golf Hall of Famer Lee Trevino, born in 39. He is 86 today. Comedian Richard Pryor, born today in 1940. Actor, B-level actor, superstar, B-level movie actor, Treat Williams, born in 51. Let's see. Oh, that's right. We just lost him, right? It was like a bicycle accident or something. Like, it was like ridiculous how we lost Treat Williams. The poor man. Like, somebody ran him over or something on a bicycle or something. Yeah, this was recently that we lost Treat Williams. Let's see, what else do we have here? Actor Nestor Carbonell, born in 67. He is 58. Actor David Hornsby, born in 75. He is 50. Comedian Sarah Silverman, born in 70. She's 55. Actor Charles Michael Davis, born in 84. He's 41. Actor Zoe Kravitz, born in 88. She's 37. TV personality and animal conservatist, right? Whatever. Anyways, Robert Irwin, Steve Irwin's kid, born in 2003. He's 22. Got tongue twisted with that damn word. Let's see who else. Let's go with music history now. What happened today in Musica history? In 73, the Carpenters went to number 1 on the U.S. singles charts with On Top of the World Looking Down on Creation and the Only Inspiration I Can Find. Their second number 1. Let's see what else. The Sex Pistols today appeared on Today program on London in regional TV as a last-minute substitute for Queen. After being goaded by host Bill Grundy, they swear repeatedly, including the dreaded F word, shocking sensitive viewers. In 78, Susie Quattro released her 5th studio album, If You Knew Susie. It features the singles If You Can't Give Me Love, Stumbling In, The Race Is On, and Don't Change My Luck. In 86, Salt and Pepper released their debut album, Hot, Cool, and Vicious. It features Push It Real Good. Bum, 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 bum. In 90, Whitney Houston went to number 1 on the U.S. singles charts with I'm Your Baby Tonight, her 8th U.S. number 1 and the first for writers and producers Reed and Babyface. In 90, Ice Ice Baby became the number 1 single on the UK singles charts. Ice Ice Baby was initially released as the B-side to the rapper's cover of Play That Funky Music. It became the A-side after the US DJs started playing it. In 92, Duran Duran released the single Ordinary World. Earlier than planned, after radio airplay created a huge demand, the song reached number 3 in the US, their biggest hit in the country since Notorious in 86. And that album, the wedding album from where Ordinary World is, that is a great album, dude. Like, that was like a monster super comeback by Duran Duran. That was an album that you can put next to Rio and Seven and the Ragged Tigers and, you know, the early albums and all that kind of stuff. You can, that album perfectly goes with those. Definitely. Let's see what else. In 2006, Gwen Stefani released her second solo studio album, The Sweet Escape, and it features the singles Wind It Up, The Sweet Escape, 4 in the Morning, Now That You Got It, and Early Winter. In 2017, on this date, U2 released their 14th studio album, Songs of Experience. It features the singles You're the Best Thing About Me and Get Out of Your Own Way, which is a great song, by the way. Love is Bigger Than Anything in Its Way, and Live was phenomenal. Summer of Love, another great song, and Landlady. So good. So good. They are so good. In 2017, Chris Stapleton released his third studio album, From a Room, Volume 2, and it features singles Millionaire, Scarecrow in the Garden, Trying to Untangle My Mind. I try to do that every day. Let me see if there's any birthdays here that wasn't on that other list. Let's see. Soul singer Billy Paul, who enjoyed the number 1 hit in 72, Me and Mrs. Jones, born in 34 today. Jaco Pastorius, the bassist of Weather Report, was born today in 51. Chris Poland of Megadeth, is 68 years old today. And that's it. The rest were on the list. And that's what happened today in Musica history. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Let's see what else. TJ Superman. It was on a motorcycle on Route 80. A car was traveling in the southbound lane and then went into the northbound lane, and he wasn't able to get out of the way. Oh, it was on a motorcycle, not a bike. Okay. for Treat Williams. Thank you, TJ Superman. Like, sucks, dude. Sucks. I knew it was some kind of an injury. I remember reading about it a while back. It wasn't too long ago. Might have been 6 months ago, a year ago. I don't think we lost Treat Williams too long ago. But what a sad story, man. Every day is a blessing. We just never know when they're going to call us. You just never know, dude. And just every morning that you open your eyes, just take advantage and enjoy it, because that's another day you've been blessed to have on another day on this earth, and be with your family and be with your friends and enjoy whatever it is that you love to do. Very important to do what you love. That is very important. If you can get away with that in this world, that definitely helps out. So it is what it is. What can I tell you? Please smash the hell out of the like button. We're still not at 100, man. Come on. Get us to 100. Let's go. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation, of course. You can send in your questions and comments. Bitcoin, by the way, is at 84,612. Inter Miami is in the MLS Cup Finals. And Javier Mascherano, the coach, who I got to say, I haven't been that impressed with him overall, but lately, I got to say, mad props to him. Now, what happens if Suarez doesn't spit on somebody? Does he get suspended? No. Does he continue to play? Because his suspension opened up for the door for them to see Silvetti and see what the lineup could be without Suarez. And to Javier's credit, the head coach, after that suspension, it kind of opened up the eyes that they needed to stay younger up front. And Allende, I mean, he started red hot at the beginning of the year and then tailed off a little bit, and then obviously has been red hot again. But Silvetti was a guy that was on the bench. And all of a sudden, you watch Messi with those two guys, it's so much better. You're much more athletic. You're faster. Those guys can play some defense where Suarez can't. Busquets is a guy that can't play any defense. He ends up fouling people. So you can't have too many of these old guys, because the league isn't what it was 15 and 20 years ago and 25 years ago when it was a retirement league and you had older players all over the place. It is younger. It is more athletic. It is faster. And you will be run off the pitch. So to Javier's credit, he made the adjustment and kept Suarez on the bench. And that is now, been the move of all moves, because they look like a different team now. And Messi, with his vision and passing, and obviously Alba and all these other guys, to have Silvetti and Allende running, down the sidelines as your forwards, it just opens things up for the team. And it's interesting that that the scumbag Suarez, his stupidity is what opened up the opportunity for Silvetti. And then in the end, that's when the coach said, yeah, we have to go in this direction. We have to play younger and we have to play more athletic up front. We're not athletic enough up front, and it's hurting us. It's bogging us down. Now, I mean, the Cincinnati game is all I needed to see. That's the game I thought they were going to lose. That's the game because Cincinnati had owned them and they looked better than them and more athletic. And the Silvetti move was the one that really, it solidified everything that you needed to do. And I had all the confidence in the world in the NYCFC game. But I was worried about I'm not even worried about the MLS Cup. It would take like a bad day for, Inter, that they're off or whatever or something for them to lose. Cincy was the championship for them. That's the way I looked at the bracket, because I saw after, and then NYC, oh, they can beat NYC, and they can beat Vancouver. I've seen Vancouver. They can beat Vancouver. Cincinnati and they crushed Cincinnati. Crushed them, because Cincinnati played the older version of Inter. A spit created this, opened up the opportunity for this, allowed them to experiment, and that experiment became permanent, and that permanency is now going to lead to the cup. Because after you bought Luis Suarez and brought him here, you're now not playing him in the most important games in order to win the cup. He's coming in garbage time. That's some scary shit, dude. So really interesting how it's all developed for Inter Miami this year. Big O, I think you gave me your cough. One of those internet viruses, probably. I'm so sorry. No doubt. I'm an idiot. Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm trying to stay away from people, trying not to shake hands. I'm trying to do my best, man. Every breath you have is a blessing, bro. Amen to that, Joseph. But wait, if the day sucks and making your life worse, then how is that a blessing? I don't know. How can the day suck if you're alive? No day sucks that you're alive. Okay? The day sucks for kids that are starving. The day sucks for people that are out of work and can't pay their bills and living in their cars. That's when it sucks, my brother. But those of us that can work and we're able bodies and we can enjoy our lives, every day is a blessing. Every single day. Even if a day that you're full of mucus, it's still a blessing to be alive and filled with mucus. Orlando, I believe moving Rios Novos into the starting goalkeeper was a great coaching. Well, yes, the older guy was kind of, and that took an injury, right? Kind of took an injury. And then Novo tried, and then they kind of went in there and kept going. But yes, I agree with you. He's done a good job. I liked Calendar. I don't know, I didn't like how he lost his job, to be quite honest. But whatever. Big O, I'm getting bored with all these fake plays and fourth and shorts with QB changing cadences and vocals to try to draw the other team off sides play. It never seems to work in this way. Well, that's actually not true, because yesterday there was a game that was a third and short, and the QB drew them off sides and got a crucial first down. God, I forgot what game it was that I was watching. But yeah, that happened. And in one game that I saw that they were able to draw somebody off sides. It might have been on Thursday or something. I forgot. It's all just one big day from Thursday through Sunday. I've watched so much that it's just crazy. My wife was like this weekend. She's like, God, I've watched so much sports this weekend. I apologized to her. So last night I did not watch the Washington game. We caught up with Tracker and we watched something else. We watched the movie. So, I told her, no, I'm not going to do that to you tonight. Plus it's a shitty game tonight and all that. I didn't want to watch the Sunday night game. I didn't really care about it. So we watched some TV because I tortured the poor woman for the last few days. It was all sports, dude. All sports, And she's a champ. She hangs in there and watches it with me. But, luckily she has a phone now. So she gets to be on the phone and, cruise around and at least, keep herself a little busy sometimes too. Anyway. It is what it is. All right. We thank Ira Winderman. We thank, of course, the great Sean Stanley. We thank all of you for tuning in. Please smash the hell out of the like button before you go, or whenever you go into a video, or hit any of our shows, please hit the like button. It's very important to get the algorithms going. It's one of the most important things you can do for us. Sure, we could talk about donations and obviously visiting our amazing sponsors. Those are important, but hitting the like button takes no effort, and it really goes a long way to helping the show. So pretty simple. Appreciate all of you out there. Thank you all for having the patience with me. I know it hasn't been easy. We shall see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock, by the way. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O